Welcome to Make Something with me, David Picciuto, and today we're gonna make a super tiny end table that's very specific to only my needs. But I think you're really gonna like this one. Stick around for some fun. So I'm gonna find the angle here and the length. So this is just rough. See if it all fits in there. That'll fit just fine. Let's go make this out of wood. I'm just winging this. There's no plans at all. And what I'm thinking is this would be the base, and I'm gonna make little support pieces that are gonna go in between these two pieces. We're gonna gang these bitches up. Cut them at the same time using some double-sided tape. This way, I know they'll be the exact same size. Adhesive sandpaper. We're just going to sand that flat. I got these center pieces here. This will be the bottom. This will be the top. There'll be maybe a little hidden compartment here. Not sure yet. And then this is going to get glued and screwed on here. This will be the bottom. I have this line. I could cut this out on the bandsaw, but I want a really straight cut. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some grip on this board right here. Now that board won't move. Little tick marks on both sides of the line that I want to cut, and I'll just hold that down. Check that out, right on the line. Do the same with the other side. This is a little trick I learned from Tim Sway. There we go. My buddy Randy out of Gobi Walnut in Portland sent me this beautiful hunk of walnut here. So shout out to Randy and Gobi Walnut. I'm just going to pretty much trace my template onto this board here and cut this out on the base. I taped this piece of string to the end here, and I'm going to use that to kind of draw a curve cut out. How you like me now? How you like me now? I don't know if you can see that, but we got two boards coming in at an angle. I'm just gonna flatten that out. Got my table saw blade set at a slight angle here.
Surprised that one. Snuck up on it. Ah!
Who's in your house? The fuck does that mean? Who's in your house? That's my thing now. I'm just gonna say, who's in your house?
For everything.
For everything. Welcome to Make Something with me, David Picciuto. Who's in your house? Got a round over bit in my router here. People ask where I get my router bits from. I get them from Tools Today. Hashtag not sponsored. Hole saw mounted to my drill. Have no idea what size it is, but
Beer can size.
it's beer can size, coffee mug size. I'm putting this right in the middle. People are gonna be like, why don't you put it in the back so you can have, no, I want it right in the middle. I tested this out. I sat in the chair and I'm like, you know what? I want my drinks right here in the middle for convenience. That, my friends, is the pepperoni.
How you like me now?
I thinned down a piece of walnut that I'm gonna use for the bottom here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna write a little groove for this to fit in there. I got my bit set to the thickness of the board. So let's do it up. There's a bearing on here that's gonna ride along the inside while the bit. I'm gonna draw a circle on here.
How you like me now?
I should have not even put any glue on there, just taped it on the bottom.
Been like, there, done. And done.
Got it. All good. Bottom piece here, gonna cover up the exposed edges with some iron-on edge banding. Fun fact, I've never watched any Harry Potter movies, never read any Harry Potter books. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a fun fact or...
We're just sad?
I think you're okay.
Have not watched Lord of the Rings yet. Waiting for it to come out on DVD.
Waiting for it to become obsolete and dated.
At this point, why would I eat a taco? If I've never had one and I'm 41 years old, why the f would I start eating tacos now? Oh my God, look at this guy. He doesn't even use wire strippers. Unsubscribe. I got this outlet here. It's got a little USB charger on here, and I know nothing about wiring, so I am going to have an electrician wire this up for me. If you're doing this, you'll also want a trained professional doing this. If you like what I do and you want to help support this channel, you can support me at patreon.com/Picciuto. I'd like to thank this week's top supporters: Derek Jacobson, Jonathan J. Katz Moses, Timothy Allen, and Nathan Bird. Thanks, guys. If you want to find out how you can get involved in the weekly giveaways, get your name mentioned on this show, one-on-one Skype calls, behind-the-scenes videos, and vlogs, visit patreon.com/Picciuto. Now let's get back to the project and finish it up.
How you like me now?
Last thing we gotta do is put on the back and the plate for the outlet. I've run out of wood and plywood to use for this. I have maxed out on the budget for this project, so I found a piece of countertop laminate that I cut up to fit perfectly on here, and we're just going to nail that on. Attach the phone chargers to the back here using a picture hanger. We got one for the iPhone and one for the Android phone because we are a divided house. Well, here it is in its natural habitat. The one thing I didn't show on camera was the little leather coaster that I made that goes in there. place your coffee on, or your beer or soda, whatever you want. It's got the storage built right into there. I'm not sure I'm going to use the storage. I don't even know what I would put in there. I put the storage in there because people were going to say you could use that space as storage. I guess I could put some pencils in there, some change. I could lose things in there. I don't know. My favorite thing about this, though, is that it takes up this space between the couch and the chair, and I can charge my phone right here. And then Kelly can charge her phone as well, or the iPads. And then there's also an outlet where we can charge the laptops or whatever. Very happy with it. That concludes this part of the video. You can stick around for a little bit of extra behind the scenes, some one-on-one talk. If you're not gonna stick around, we'll see you next time. Yeah, so I only have one coat of oil on there right now. It definitely needs a second coat. I use pure tongue oil, and I'm really liking the way pure tongue oil looks on here, so that's cool. I know in the comments, somebody's going to mention that it either needs magnets or LED lights. I don't know why, but every time I post a furniture project, somebody says it needs LED lights or magnets. Every single time, not sure why. Of course, you can't see the base or anything, but I really like how the base came out. So when we go to rearrange the furniture or whatever, maybe we can find a use for it. Maybe I can repurpose some of it. Not sure, but right now, I'm very happy with it. This was actually supposed to be this much lower. I wanted it to sit below the armrest, and when I measured, I didn't take into account the thickness of the top. Don't know what I was thinking, but after I got it installed in here, it works just fine. It doesn't really interfere with my arm or anything. I'd like to thank Randy from Gobi Walnut out of Portland for sending me the walnut on here. Thank you, Randy. Randy has been a huge supporter of my stuff for a long time, and he really cracks me up in the comments. So, Randy Alloway, you're a good man, dude. Thanks. A couple things you may or may not know. I have a second channel, and over there, I posted the results of my craft show from November. And I go through actual money, what I actually made, and then I give you a checklist if you're going to do a craft show, what you need to take or what you need to do to get ready. So I'll have a link to that somewhere down in the description, and I'll have a card that flies out, and you can check that out. Also, I have a podcast with Jimmy DiResta and Bob Claggett. We're up to 103 or 104 episodes. That's so cool. We started a YouTube channel for the podcast. So now we're putting the audio files up on YouTube, so you don't have to have a podcast player. You don't have to go to the website. You don't have to go to SoundCloud. You can listen to it right in YouTube. There's no video except for one. When we had our Making It podcast meetup in Boston a few weeks ago, we did record video for that. The video is the three of us doing a live podcast in front of a couple hundred people. It was really good times. The event was held at the Converse World headquarters, which was super awesome place. So you might want to check that video out as well. Some people are asking about books. The cutting board books seem to be sold out on Amazon. They just did a second printing of that, which now has a new flap. So it's like sort of like a different cover. There was a couple corrections made to it, I believe. And so that will be back up on Amazon very soon. In my store, I do have a couple left to sell. The cutting board books I don't currently have, but I hope to have very soon, maybe within a couple more days. If you don't see the cutting board book on my website, you can go to Amazon and order it. We had some issues with some international shipping from the orders. We're trying to get that all straightened out. So if your book was delayed, if it took a few weeks to get your book, I'm extremely sorry. So here's the deal, real talk, okay? Here's what happened. The first book, I didn't really want to ship. So I just sent everybody to Amazon. I make a little bit less money that way, but that's okay. I didn't have to deal with the shipping. So the publisher came up with a great idea saying, hey, why don't you sell signed copies? We'll send you a few cartons of books, you sign them, ship them back to us in Pennsylvania, and then they'll ship them. You take the orders on your website, and then forward those orders to us, and we'll ship them. and then we'll invoice you every month or whatever for their part of the sale. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So I signed all the books, I shipped them all back, and then I started taking the orders on my website. And then there were some issues with some international orders, and so people had to come to me and say, hey, what's the deal? And then I would have to forward that to the publisher, and they took care of it. But international orders take a long time, especially when you're shipping media mail, because there's not tracking. Once it leaves the United States, there's no tracking. You can see that it got to the country, whatever. So working all that out. Very sorry for those delays. It's getting fixed. I am going to sell more cutting board books on my website, and I'm going to do the shipping this time. That way, if there is an issue, I can be responsible and I can take the blame. And I'm not putting blame on anybody. It's just shipping's hard. Shipping sucks, especially when you're shipping hundreds of books. Now that that initial rush is over and I won't have to ship hundreds of books at one time, just maybe 1 or 2 a day, I take full responsibility for the delay. But I want to handle everything from beginning to end with you guys that are buying the stuff. So I got hoodies and t-shirts for sale with the newer Make Something logo. My podcast Making It also has some hoodies for sale, so you might want to check that out. I'm really late on our yearly wedding rings. Some of you know we make new wedding rings every year. I've started that. I'm cutting them out of titanium on the CNC, which I've learned that my CNC isn't made to cut titanium. It's for wood and plastic, but I'm doing it anyway. And the problem I'm having with it is basically the spindle spins too fast to cut metal. I don't have the proper equipment to cut titanium. That's the thing, and so I'm using what I have. I've been talking to some people for some collab videos, not other woodworkers, like people completely outside of what I do. I'm not really into doing collaborations with other makers or woodworkers because basically we kind of share the same audience. I want to do collaborations with people outside of what I do, and then we can have 2 completely different audiences mix and match. So a lot of cool stuff. I'm really hoping for a great 2017, and yeah, so that's enough talk for today. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon. As always, be safe, stay passionate, have fun, and make something. Man, that's a lot of talking. How you like me now?